When I first went back to Uganda, which is nearly 30 years after I left Uganda, I was on a Facebook page. And I read something on the Facebook page and directly relate to what I do right now in Australia, working with people with disability who have significant intellectual disability. And I'm reading this, and then they said in that Facebook page, saying that the cadaver had in the brain sample that they took had something silver in it. So I actually called the person that put that information there. He didn't answer. Then I called direct to my uncle, which is called William. And I asked William, I said, William, do you know what this is? And he went all quiet. And I asked again, I said, William, are you okay? And he just didn't talk. And then he said, you know, Moses, that's a big problem here. Do you know your brothers and sisters all have it? And I said, your children have Northern syndrome. And he said, yes. He said, Akanyo, that's one of the daughter, is badly affected. And then two of the boys, they're all badly affected. And he said, there is really nothing he can do about it. They have tried all medication, and the government won't even support them. I think I went straight away to Uganda, and I want to know the detail. What is this really, this Northern syndrome? No me wek bure go ya wa cha.
And
no, ka ri wen ba le.
Ba le ya.
Eni kiri ke ni ke jo. Quiero ke jo. Ya. Kira, no, kiri belo tin.
Ya jo. Ya ni ke tiene, jo.
Ke tin na. A kwan jo ka wen. Kwan pa ka wen ya.
I
Wan yo wen ya. Na ma. Ka wen ma ro. Ka pe wan yo wen.
So Ojok is a classic Northern syndrome patient. So when I met Ojok, that was probably 4 years ago. It was 11, probably 12 years. Met the bolo. Near con muda. Today he's actually happy to have clothes on. He normally doesn't want clothes on him at all. He just sit there like that. So when I first came, I met him down somewhere there. And he was literally eating his poo. I was really shocked to actually see a person eating his poo. I don't know what age he was, but then when the mom came, he said, oh, he's about 13 years old. And that time, he was just this little. I was literally very concerned why he's that little. When I found him eating his poo, I actually, like these guys who would come around, I'm saying, who is the parent and all that sort of stuff. And when the mom came and I was asking why he left the kid by himself, literally she got angry at me and he said, well, there's nobody who help us here.
Moses went there again and he went around the villages and he just talked to people and asked them, specifically the families with kids with Northern syndrome, what is it that we can do that would be most helpful for you? And one of the things that came across was, well, if we would have a cow and a plough, that would be much more effective than them hoeing by hand and just, it's very slow, it's very tedious, and there's always just enough for them, like there's no extra. And because there is no Centrelink, there is no social security, so you basically just eat what you plant, and the weather is not very friendly, like they go through drought season, so it's an extremely harsh and hard lifestyle. So with the cow and a plough, they can plough a larger area and they can reap a larger crop and they can have enough to make a bit of profit to send their kids to school.
The house I found Ojok looked like that mud hut with a sunken roof. And when it rained, it was just raining all the time. So they're really homeless here. I decided instead of those, I built this permanent structure. So that permanent structure has got also a meaning to it. It means they cannot be chased away from here because it's permanent structure. He doesn't get rain on. I mean, you can see the rain, when it rains a lot. Has that improved his quality of life? Probably not. Mom is always struggling. There's too vulnerable that, the community stole their cows. They have the plow here, but they can't plow. So literally, it doesn't matter how much help we have actually poured in his place. It doesn't change. That's the reason why we literally decided maybe it's better to have a farm and just keep feeding these guys. Yeah. I thought the plow and the cow would help, but they've lost it all.
Nodding syndrome is a neurological condition, so it's a condition that affects the brain, and it's a condition that's been described primarily in parts of Africa. Nodding syndrome was identified in the 2000s in Northern Uganda around the time of the Civil War. There was a 15-year civil war in Northern Uganda which really impacted onto the community, and it became evident that there was a condition called nodding syndrome which was becoming quite common.
So this is people with nodding syndrome homes, like this. This is a homestead. So the house we're going to is a child of a mother who has also nodding syndrome. The mother had suffered seizures and she's burned, severely burned, and she's in the hospital right now. But how about we just go and see? This is a typical home of a neglected child. So there's not really anybody in this place. As you probably saw when we came here, there was nobody. But because of the vehicle coming, everybody's running now to come and see what's happening here. So let's just go and see what's happening. And then when we get in there, I'm going to ask Joe to come and join us. You won't be surprised that they have urinated on themselves. There's probably poo, every sort of stuff, because they don't know themselves. Come on, be on there. It's here. Just come in and see what it look like. So they leave them like this, and they will just die just like that. So he pooped there. That's just the dire situation out there. It's a very sad situation. But he really need, it's just very sad sometimes. I just don't like to be in there. We've had this land since December. We haven't done much about it though. Because we don't have a road, this is our road to the farm. It looks clear, I think you can see it. It's a path there, we cut all the trees. So this is going to be the path to the farm. What we have realized a lot is obviously there is a cost with running a massive project like we are running, and we cannot rely on getting fund or asking for fund. I'm not good at asking people to give money, but we thought something that's sustainable right in Uganda here will be we're thinking longevity of the project. So whether I am here or I'm not here, the project can run on its own. It doesn't have to be money, We just want good plan, and part of planning is having this farm. So having this farm as twofold. One is for the sustainability of the whole of our project, Acholi Resilience. Two is to provide food for the most vulnerable beneficiaries of the charity. We're going to grow maize and beans. It's the staple food of Ugandans. We don't need to sell it only locally here. It can be sold internationally as well. The countries that are around here, like Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Zaire, and then the main buyer would be even South Sudan. And then we got the school as well. Kids in that school who come and have not eaten for days. And when school starts, that's obviously the time when life is good because it's food. So that's the only meal they'll get in a day. So we want to keep that going. And if we expand, mostly we're going to be reaching a lot of school with food. Yes, that's the reason why we have this farm.
I guess my vision is that we can multiply the farms, we can multiply the school feeding programs, and we can help Northern Uganda to just rise up again on their feet. Our heart is just to see that again, that they can rise up and walk in their God-given potential and to enjoy life, that life doesn't have to be so miserable. And you know, just the survival to stay alive, that they can enjoy life and be able to go and help someone else and reach out to another community. So we're hoping that there will be a snowball effect, that as people get a help, they will start helping others.
I want to be sustainable. That's prima. I want to be sustainable. I want to manage properly, and I want to replicate it the whole of Northern Uganda. If we can produce something and say, well, look, we're actually sustainable in Africa, we don't need to keep on begging. I want that to be an example, a model for Acholi Resilience to the rest of Africa. We can do it ourselves, just be sustainable. So my goal is to see, number one, poverty eradicated completely, kids being kids, going to school, a healthy community. A healthy community can only be because there's God habitations in that land. God is present in that place. That's what I see.